Okay, so without further ado, let's start with these presentations. First of all, I'm coming from one of their representatives, who is Roy. We have 𝗍𝗏𝗀. 𝗍𝗏𝗀 with a presentation that is called Build Projects on a Solid Cloud Foundation. Here, Roy will let you know and let you discover how to unify your Jira Cloud instance, and how to secure it, how to create velocity on it, how you will be scaling that Jira Cloud instance and eliminating problems or admin headaches. So, Roy, are you there?
Yes, Fede, I am here.
There you go. Nice. Welcome to this event, and I'll let you to it. The floor is completely yours. See you later.
Yes, thank you very much, Fede. Welcome everybody to this webinar where we're going to be talking, well, just a quick introduction of myself. As Fede said, my name is 𝗰𝗹𝗍𝗂𝗋. I'm one of the technical consultants at the 𝗍𝗏𝗀, and I'm going to be telling you something how to build a solid Jira Cloud foundation. And with that, I'm going to tell a little bit about ourselves first. Who are we? Who's 𝗍𝗏𝗀? 𝗍𝗏𝗀 started in 2011. We currently employ 40 people that are devoted to our customers. We operate in Belgium, France, and the Netherlands for our offices, but we help people all over the world. So if you're in the USA, Europe, the Pacific regions, we're here for you. We're an Atlassian Platinum partner, and we're also a Monday.com Gold partner. And we are really looking at the people first, then the tools. And that really brings us into like the next part is, it's a very well-known story that everybody has heard of a lot of times, is you have a company that does a big investment, say 100,000 euros into a custom Jira setup. They got all the bling on it, automations, custom fields, all projects separated out. And then you get the reality of teams that are being pushed to the platform going like, nah, we'll go back to spreadsheets and PowerPoints and Word documents and keeping things on our local drive because the system isn't working. But the problem isn't that Jira isn't working. It's that the implementation approach that was taken to build the Jira was process first instead of people first. So what you then get, and why Jira Cloud should really be what you're looking at, is it's enterprise security. That's up first. It's like we have banks around the world that use the Atlassian ecosystem cloud, and that are coming to us and saying like, security top notch. It's like we cannot get better than this. It is what it is. And it is the best of the best. There's automatic updates. You don't have to worry about it. Atlassian takes care of it for you. You don't have to look around. You can either get updates as they come out, so you get the newest features up front, or you can go on a monthly basis. So you have a cadence going with the updates. So you know what's coming, you can inform your users, you can test it out on a sandbox instance or a trial and get to know it there. And then there's scalable performance, is the platform grows with you. So if you grow, the platform grows with you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to add CPU power. You don't have to add memory. Atlassian takes care of it for you. You don't have to worry about it. And then there is a rich ecosystem. And not only is the ecosystem Atlassian's applications, so Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket, but there's also the marketplace with third-party vendors like 𝗍𝗶𝗍𝗂𝗋𝗋 Apps and Deiser, who add extra functionalities that Atlassian might not offer out of the box to really amp up your system, to really enrich your own way of working. So the real pain that you usually see is that data gets siloed. And what happens if your data is in silos is there's no single point of truth, because every silo will have its own truth of how of what data they operate on. So what you can get is that people from these silos start conflicting with each other when data has to be brought together because the truths weren't aligned. So the decisions can't be made correctly. So following that, information is scattered. for instance, I might be working in one silo and Feda might be working in another, and I might need some information from Feda. I have to go looking through their systems. It's not one unified place. So the information that they use might be stored in a CRM, whereas I might use Jira, and another colleague of ours might use spreadsheets, and then stuff might also be stored in Teams or Slack again. So it gets scattered a lot. And then what you also see, what it ends up with is misalignment, is that teams start working on the same things maybe without knowing that they're working on the same thing. So in the end, you might reach a goal and then you notice that, oh, we have had two teams working on the same thing without knowing it. Oops, that's wasted potential that you have at that point. So when information is in separate systems, collaboration becomes a pain, and teams start wasting their energy on having to dig up that information and can't use it in an efficient way, thus causing them headaches and loss of performance. So how we at 𝗍𝗂𝗋𝗆 look at these kinds of problems is basically a three-stage rocket. First of all, as we start with questions. We don't start with the tools. We start asking, okay, how do you work? Not in the sense of how does your workflow work? No, how do you as a person work? So what is the business's way of working? How do you sell your product, for instance? Not how do you sell your product with step A, B, C, D, E. No, just the general picture. Let's go broad. Let's go up, because we don't have to dig in yet. Then we want to understand why you do certain things. What is it that drives you to do certain steps in your process? And then once we have all of that information, we start building the tool out. Because at that point, we have all the information of how you operate and function as a organization, and thus we can make the tool fit the organization, not the other way around, where the organization has to fit into the tool, because that's where the pains usually come from. So we help prevent a couple of pitfalls in this process. We help protect against permission chaos. Because one thing that bugs a lot of people is if you can't get the data, you can't work with the data, and thus you have to go asking for, hey, can I get access to A, B, C, because I need D, E, and F, because otherwise I can't do my job. And we really help looking at your permissions in the company and going like, okay, you have person A, they do this job, okay, then they need these permissions to get this data. Then low adoption. Usually a problem is if a process or a program is not intuitive to use, or it's set up in a very cumbersome way, it will drive people away from it. What we really help is looking at your organization and also making a roadmap of how we can help adopt the tool into the organization. So help people get along with the tool in a very easy and user-friendly way. Then we also help with the scaling issues, because usually what people do when they buy such a tool is they fix a problem now, which becomes a new problem in the near future. And we really try help looking at the long road. So we also help with, of course, the problems now, but we also make sure that the solutions we deploy now are also going to work in the future for you. And that if they don't work in the future, that we can adapt them in an easy way to make them work again. And then after that, there's the poor performance, which everybody knows if a page takes too long to load, we're not really want to work with it. And if it happens once, okay, it can happen. Twice, it gets annoying. 3 times, I'll just go back to using spreadsheets. So what we really help with is optimize the performance of the application itself. Even though cloud scales the performance, it can take some time. So if the tool upfront is optimized, it will also help getting it to load better. People want to use it, and it will also drive adoption up, because a fast tool people like to use. So the quick wins we offer as 𝗍𝗂𝗋𝗆 for your company is that we audit your instance. We look at, if you have an instance, we look at it and we really try to understand what the problems are with the setup you have. So For instance, you might have a setup and you might have an overload of custom fields because somebody in the past thought it was a good idea to load up everything into a custom field. That will then come forward in the audit, and we can look at ways on how we can improve that, so we can lower the amount of custom fields so you can work better with the instance. We'll look at the team configurations. We want to create scalable team-specific workflows. So we want to make a workflow that works for a team, not per se the tool. The tool itself, it will operate. How we configure it. So the best thing is if it works for your team, you can really feel the tool working with you. And then we also have the readiness checks. Make sure your organization is ready to go to cloud if you aren't there yet. So really making sure that your company is good to go if they want to switch from on-premise applications to cloud. And that will, so with these targeted interventions, we deliver quick and immediate improvements that you can build towards a long-term strategy of using the Atlassian platform, in the specific case, Jira. So let's help us turn your chaos into clarity. We help in ways of health checks and migrations. So we assess and help you with the smooth transition to the Jira Cloud. We also offer architecture and implementation consultancy. We have experts that help you design and deploy your ideal setup into the cloud, so you can start working with it on a very fast, with a very fast pace. And we also have our ongoing support, which gives you full lifecycle assistance and license optimization, so you get the best bang for your buck. So Jira Cloud, with these three parts, Jira Cloud really becomes the powerhouse of your company, because it has the right foundation, which we can help build for you with clarity, alignment, and performance. Thank you very much. If you want information, or you have questions for us, or you want to get in touch, have a coffee, you can contact us at sales@@𝗀𝗂.com, and we'll be right there for you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Roy, for this amazing presentation. And we won't get too busy, and we'll get to the next presentation, in which Dilar and Greta from 𝗬𝗍𝗂𝗋𝗋 Apps will present us projects run better when you know who you're running them for. In here, you will discover how to avoid the problem of jumping from one tool to another. And remember that 91% of the companies use CRM, but most of those customers' contexts live outside Jira, far from where all the work is being done. So they'll teach you how to connect those projects to the people behind them, and by bringing deals, contacts, and full customer history in Jira and Confluence. So welcome to this, to your presentation, Dilara. Welcome to your presentation, and go ahead. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Fede. That really is the perfect intro to this. Here we go. Oh, that is not correct. And thank you, Roy, for all that amazing information. What we want to talk about a bit more now is the who of project management. So as you know, a lot of people manage a lot of different projects in Jira, and those different projects come with a lot of different what are we doing, where are we doing this, how are we doing this? But it also comes with an important who are we doing this work for? And it also comes with how much, which Claudia will talk about in the next presentation. But coming back to the who, we want to talk about how Atlas CRM brings customer context, that is the who in project management, back into projects. So before we do all that, like who are we and why are we qualified to talk about this? Well, we've been in the Atlas environment more than 10 years. We have a dedicated team. We are all security certified, all the important things that you see here. And we have a total of 12 apps in the marketplace, and Atlas CRM is one of them. So this is a very short agenda on what we are going to talk about. It looks a bit longer, but they are smaller topics. So we start talking about the situation that people find themselves in, the problem that creates, where Atlas CRM fits. And in the area of project management, I want to talk a bit about need for context and power of integration. Then we talk a little bit on what Atlas CRM actually does and who it was built for, and the big difference that we think it can create. We have a small walkthrough and some final thoughts and questions for you guys. So let's start here. This is not necessarily a project management issue, to be honest. In our line of work, I think everybody is piecing together information at all times. So you don't have to necessarily work in project management in order to do this too. But I also have a personal issue with this, not with Atlas CRM, obviously. But I feel like at this day and age, we shouldn't be moving one piece of information from here to there to do work. I feel like our work should be focused on our time should be focused on doing more quality work, more focused work. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that our tools are consolidated. So if you're ever piecing together a spreadsheet from here and a Slack thread from there and an external CRM, a Jira comment, you spend all this time on doing this work before you actually get to do the work. So if this is also happening to you, you're not alone, because an average user, we found, juggles 5 to 10 open tabs at once. And this is not a shocking information. You guys probably had 5 to 10 tabs before this meeting too. And productivity drops by 40% when this is the case. So when your CRM lives outside of Jira, this is also something that is probably happening to you, and therefore your team stays behind. This ends with usually playing catch up, and the cost of catch up is high. So if you have disconnected tools, you have a lot of missed opportunities because your team is guessing what was promised. Your support agents are flying behind because they cannot see JSM in their CRM. Your projects are drifting off track, and sometimes you find clients repeating themselves, which is a big red flag for a company. And when all this happens, we like to say, you are not necessarily doing project management, you are just doing task management because you're missing the customer context. This is where Atlas CRM actually fits. So if you want to bring customer context back in Jira, this is where you need Atlas CRM. So we like to think that it's the missing layer between the customer and the Jira projects, because it is built for teams who live in Atlassian. You can have context, deals, customer history all in one place. And one thing that I find very important, and it's also something that we hear from customers, is that since it's native to Jira and Confluence, there is no standalone learning curve. So there is not a certification that you have to get done in order to be able to start using the CRM. I included a quote here, which you might have guessed that I was very happy to hear on a customer success call. It was by a professional employer organization, and they said, if you're using Jira Service Management and not Atlas CRM, you are basically using half the tool. So then what is this tool? Well, meet Atlas CRM. We say it is the #1 native CRM. We have been in the ecosystem, not in the ecosystem. Atlas CRM has been there since like 2015. Therefore, it is an established CRM, and we have a Jira and a Confluence version because cross-context wasn't a thing back then. I want to talk a little bit on power of integration. So obviously, I just mentioned that it is integrated to Jira and Confluence. However, I want to be clear that we are in no way saying Atlas CRM is a project management tool. It is just the power of integration that if you take Jira, where you're doing all your work already, and if you have 𝗖𝗿ecie, as Roy also mentioned, where you can set up your rock-solid Jira Cloud, you have Atlas CRM where you can put the customer context back, and you can put numbers there too, aka budgets with Budgety. So this is the Atlassian advantage that both I hear customers like, but also people like us, vendors, also tend to like, because there is this amazing tool, but you can add all these other things on top of it just to customize it to your expectation. And with that, with power of integration, you can create this better tool. So after all that talk, what does it actually do? So you can run JQL-powered customer searches. So you can run queries like show all open issues for 𝗰𝗍𝗂𝗍, which is an Atlas CRM customer, by the way. You can hook your Gmail and Outlook, so you can auto-sync emails directly into customer profiles. You get to see an entire customer interaction history, so emails, calls, support cases, deal progress, all in one view. There is a JSM integration, so you get a full customer context in every single support ticket. There is contact and deal management. You can log deals, track sales progress, tie them to Jira issues. And there are powerful JSM automations, such as automatically create new customer records from incoming requests and link requests to existing customers. So as any B2B SaaS company, we have tons of personas for like a lot of our products. But I think these are the four that get the most use out of Atlas CRM. So a sales manager usually really likes it because they get to track deals easily without spreadsheets. They can see all progress right in Jira. Customer success usually really likes it because they get to see a full customer history. They also get access to timelines and JSM tickets. Project managers actually really like it because they want to have this understanding of customer-related work at a glance, and they can track progress without chasing updates across the team. Service agents really like it because they need customer details when resolving issues, so they get to see all this information directly in JSM. So the big difference that we think you can create in project management with Atlas CRM is not letting your projects live in isolation. So therefore, you know who you are doing this project for and how to keep them happy. I pass you to Greta.
Thank you so much, Dilara. That was a very nice part, and I think you've went through everything very smoothly. And I think now it's time to actually, now that you know what it does, to actually see it in real life. And this is a clear example on also what Roy was mentioning, that no silos, smooth information. And this is what Atlas CRM is offering to anybody that is a user of us. And the idea is like you as a product manager and as a sales manager and as anybody that is part of the organization can super easily go to those projects. We can see here an example of a project with different status. And here we can see that it's linked to a company and to a opportunity, but also you can link to person profiles. So the idea is like without having to go outside Jira, you can already see a pre-information of what's going on with that company. So you can get that, first glance of what is this company doing from the project itself, if they have any other opportunities at the moment. And if you are missing even more information and you want to know more about it, and that's the magic of what we are offering with Atlas CRM, is you can literally just jump into the tool itself and have the full picture, or as how we like to name it, the 360 view, where you can get full profiles from companies, contacts, and sales opportunities, very full of anything that is happening in Jira, Jira Service Management, and Confluence, all in one glance. So the idea is like that person that is jumping into this company profile, as an example, can see very quickly some quick information about this company, can have also a quick overview of any Jira and Jira Service Management issues that has been linked to this company. You can even create issues from here, because we are native, we can decide to which project and issue type we would like to create two. And same happened a little bit with Confluence. So you can also come back here and link that important part of documentation that is very relevant to this company. What do we have here too? And it's important to mention is like you can always add reminders. You can see activity streams. So if you just landed in this page, you can understand what's going on and what was the last thing that happened. So again, keeping everything in one source of truth. Also, you can see which were the latest interactions that your colleagues or yourself had with this company. You can either create manual integrations, which is quite handy, or as Dilara mentioned, you can also get your Gmail account and Outlook account also linked to Atlas CRM. Visualize those key pieces of conversation that you really need to know for context. And Jira style, you can always mention colleagues over here that they will receive a very quick notification so they can always keep up. So just as a perspective of somebody in the project management sector that, they really need to understand what's going on, this is a clear example of how powerful Atlas CRM is because you can just land here on profiles and see everything, and other key information that we also gather into those profiles are those key contacts that you can also create those profiles, opportunities. So you can also see full profiles of opportunities and also view how, what are the open sales in a funnel view or in a list view are looking like at the moment. So that was a very quick, just, sneak peek of what Atlas CRM can do. But that's the idea, right? Like closing, removing all those silos, having everything on one place, having all the team dancing on the same, path. And we also wanted to leave you with something, and is that if you have, first of all, if you have your customers in Atlas CRM, you have Jira and your work there, and you have your documentation in Confluence, how beautiful is that, right? Like you don't have to be changing tabs and you can have everything consolidated in one single place. And we have a lot of customers that they will jump on the demos and they will always tell us like, yeah, we need to consolidate the part of the customers because we are missing that. So today, after all of that, we wanted to leave you with two key questions, which is like, and back to what Dilara mentioned, like how many tabs does it take to finish one Jira task? And the second question also to just, think a little bit about it is like, are your tools helping you to move forward or just keeping you busy? Which is very easy in, this day and age where there's tools for every single thing to just keep chasing different tabs at the same time and not focusing on what you really should be doing. And that's our presentation. And we wanted also to leave here a code for those Atlas CRM lovers that would like to try it out. So we will also drop this code in the chat later, and it will be available, I believe, Fede. Deiser will make it also available.
Yes, that's it. Thank you very much, Greta, for this amazing demo. Sorry, and Dilara too for that great presentation. So again, after this great 𝗷𝗍𝗂𝗋𝗋 apps presentation, we'll move forward. And next we have our own 𝗀𝗶𝗂𝗀𝗻. She's from Deiser, and she will be presenting where project management meets budget clarity. Claudia will tell a story from Julia and how to manage project finances in a really simple way. So in here you will know how to, you will learn how to avoid switching tools or digging through your spreadsheets. Maybe you're still using spreadsheets, but you will learn how to avoid that and centralize all your work in Jira. And then you will be able to associate that information with different projects and work items of interest. So, Claudia, are you ready down there?
I'm ready.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Fede.
So go ahead, and the floor is also yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Fede, and thank you, Roy, Greta, and Dilara, for your great presentations. Now, this is the last one, but I hope that it's worth to stay here to know a little bit more about how project management meets budget clarity. And to do that, we're going to be telling you a fictional story with fictional characters, but with the kind of real problems that tend to hold teams back and that often go unseen, that often get buried under bigger headlines. And we, as Deiser, we like to work with you in order to overcome those problems. We see them, we spot them, and we build solutions, and we're passionate about it. We build solutions to overcome them. So in order to tell you this story, I'm going to introduce you to this fictional company called 𝗁𝗂𝗱, which is a civil engineering company based in Texas, and they build great architecture buildings all over the world. And I need to introduce you to someone else for this story, and this is Julia. And she looks very calm and very very collected, but she's very stressed because her job is financial project manager at 𝗁𝗂𝗱, and she has to handle multiple financial projects with tight budgets and shifting timelines. And she gets a lot of pressure from either both internal stakeholders and clients to stay in budget. And often there is costs that come from nowhere, and she needs to handle them too, which is very stressful. She also has to manage different spreadsheets which often means late updates and having to chase for information because there is not a single source of truth. So she has different Excel spreadsheets all over the place. She needs to call, email those project managers that she is on top of to check what's going on with those costs. Where do they come from? Because she needs to understand that in order to build those reports. And she has to manage multiple reports in parallel. And she feels the constant pressure of having everything, every single detail has to be perfect. And when she hits the button send, she needs to make sure that the data that she's sharing with her bosses is accurate and it's up to date, and that she doesn't get a call from a project manager last minute saying, actually, I forgot to add in that cost. That cannot that happens, but that's a big nuisance and a big problem for Julia. So just for you to imagine how Julia's day-to-day is at work, she has to chase numbers back and forth from Jira and Excel. She has to chase project managers, as I was mentioning, for context on those projects that she's financially monitoring. She has to manually build custom reports and hope that data isn't outdated when she hits send. So what are her challenges? Again, scattered and siloed financial data because of this use of spreadsheets that's causing stress, misalignment, and slow progress. The lack of cost and spending visibility because project managers need to track spending versus what's budgeted, and they are tracking overspending too late. And finally, difficulty categorizing and justifying costs. Spreadsheets don't offer that categorization and that traceability, and not everybody is using the same information, and that makes that accountability and context gets lost. So she has a chat with her Jira admin, and he comes up with Budgety, which is a solution built by Deiser. And it looks a little bit like this. So when Julia sees that, when he shares that with her, it looks clean. And the first thing she asks is it easy to build? Do I need a training? Does it have a lot of, does it have technical things that we need to set up? And apparently it is not. It's easy, and you can use it from day one. It's plug and play. Let's see how it goes for Julia. the first thing she does in this page, she needs to create a budget for the 𝗿𝗈𝗠𝗀 project. So she first puts the budget name and she links it to the project that she's working on. And she just types in and she selects the 𝗿𝗈𝗠𝗀 project. She could also link issues. She could also link epics. She just needs now this project to be linked. She adds in the target budget, and from there she can start adding costs, as simple as that. So she is going to start adding a based on logged work cost, and this is the cost that Elena has logged, which is one of the persons who's working on the project. She's going to be adding the dates, the cost per hour, the cost description, as we were mentioning. Now she has room, and it's mandatory that this is actually typed, and then she has it there. The hours have been calculated, taken from Jira or Tempo, depending on where the hours are being logged by the assignees, and she has the final amount. But she needs to add in more costs. We're going to be doing that now. She goes back to, well, she's in the same page, but she wants to add a new cost. She hits the button, a modal opens up for her, but now she needs to add a non-based on logged work cost. We're going to be, she'll see there's two types of costs: the date of the cost, the units, the cost per unit, the cost description. It's a geological impact assessment for this project, and she can also decide if she needs to drill to break it down a little bit more, like CAPEX, OPEX, direct or indirect. If she needs that type of information, she can it can be added as well. The cost category, there is up to 10 types of categories that can be added, and she saves. And then what she can see is that the total amount of the budget has been deducted by the costs, the total cost. So now there is 6,300 euros left for this project. She can also, after adding the budgets to different projects, she can see how are they doing, and she has a quick overview, and she can see whether those projects are overdoing, if there's room to spend, if they're about to, if the budget's about to expire. But as we can see here, they're all doing well. So she's quite calm. Everything is going well for the moment. And something that she really likes is the fact that this is a Rovo solution. So Rovo is integrated with Budgety, which means that she can ask to have a report, a specific pie chart, like in this example, and she needs to know the cost distribution for the Alaskan pipeline budget based on cost descriptions. So after a few seconds, she will be shown with that information. That way she can save a lot of time and she can have the right information very quickly, because thanks to the Rovo agent. Also, something that she's very happy to see is that if somebody has forgotten to add in a specific cost whilst in a issue, in a work item, any of the project managers can add it from the actual work item, because there is this apps tab. By clicking on budgets, the Budgety model will show as it's highlighted here, with the information from the budget that's associated to that work item. And from here, if they need to add a new cost, they forgot to add it, they need to add it. We need to make it very simple and for everyone. So here the modal opens, and there's a possibility to add a new type of cost. In this case, it's again a non-based on logged work. It's a specialized R&D equipment type of cost. Assignee, here we have the assignee and the date. So all the information that's mandatory has to be filled in for Julia to stay on top of her costs and budgets. So here you go, all the information is there. And now Julia, as we can see, she has succeeded. She has a single source of truth for everything, and here are the achievements that Julia has managed to get thanks to Budgety. She has centralized and consolidated information because the budget tracking in Jira is now all in Jira, and she can say goodbye to spreadsheets and start real collaboration and team visibility. Good. Budget visualization. That all finance back and forth is over. She has budget status visibility, and she can make decisions based on that information, on accurate and real information, and she can make faster decisions as well. So she's saving a lot of time with that, and real-time reporting oversights budget progress, expenses versus Budgety, and classifications. As we were mentioning, you can have up to 10 classifications to your costs, and also on-demand reports powered by Rovo. So all the information that she's sharing is definitely going to be up to date. Here, that's the solution we've been talking about. It's Budgety, Julia's solution, available in the Atlassian marketplace. Here you can scan this QR in case you find it interesting. You know that you can download the trial. You have a 30+ day trial. You have support associated to this trial throughout the whole time. So please use it. And as you know, it's super easy to use. So you probably won't be needing any support, but in case you do, here we are to help. So that's basically our story. That's basically Julia's story. That could be anyone's problems, anyone's situation. Now, Julia has a lot more time to spend doing other more interesting things than having to play with those spreadsheets. And I hope everybody liked the presentation, and I hand it back to Fede.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Claudia, for that amazing presentation. I'm really glad that Julia succeeded with all her troubles, and all the information that she had scattered all over the place, and she managed to get all that information back with Budgety in Jira. So again, thank you very much, 𝗙𝗿𝗂. Thank you very much, 𝗷𝗶𝗍. Thank you very much, Deiser, for this opportunity, this event, this online event, and hopefully you get all the information that you need in order to get more clarity in your Jira. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for sending your questions. If you have more questions about all these presentations, but you didn't have time to write us down, please do not hesitate to write anyone from this event, these presentations, and they will be really glad to answer back to you, and to help you with any kind of questions. So again, guys, thank you very much. I hope you have a really nice afternoon.